James Webb Space Telescope is one of the greatest technological achievements in history of mankind. It's a very sophisticated telescope that operates in the sun's orbit and sends data back to Earth. Get ready to have your mind blown by some mind-blowing facts. The James Webb Space Telescope bears the name of NASA's second administrator named James Webb. James served as NASA's highest-ranking official from 1961 to 1968 and transformed the NASA agency. He was also in charge of the majority of the Apollo programs, as well as the Mercury and Gemini programs. James had been accused of being involved in the systematic termination of any employees who were gay, therefore naming the telescope after him was contentious. From a proposal to implementation and complete operationalization, it took 26 years. Given that the telescope was proposed in 1996 with a launch date of 2007, the journey to completion was very difficult. Due to raising costs and technical challenges, the mission had to be rescheduled numerous times. The James Webb Telescope's design phase was completed in 2011, and it took 5 years to assemble and test. The solar screen got torn during a test in the year 2018, and the engineers identified 344 single point of failures. The years that followed were devoted trying new things and retesting everything. On December 25, 2021, the telescope finally lifted off. Compared to the Hubble Space Telescope, the James Space Webb Telescope is capable of taking pictures of space that are 100 times less luminous and able to capture breath. Taking photographs of the space, it features 4 scientific instruments: a near-infrared camera, a near-infrared spectrograph, a combined mid-infrared camera and spectrograph, and a combination near-infrared camera, spectrograph, and guiding sensor. The James Webb Space Telescope's 4 instruments enable it to collect information about the universe's origins at a rate that is never before possible. It has the ability to look into the past. It is the first telescope to be able to capture the light of the earliest stars to form as it takes pictures with infrared sensors. One of the most important aspects of this telescope is its capability to observe the beginnings of the universe. Additionally, it has the ability to see through cosmic dust clouds. Dust exists in space as well, and it obstructs normal telescopes. This is particularly problematic since galaxies developing generate a lot of dust. The James Webb Telescope can take better pictures of galaxies forming than any other telescope because of the 4 special infrared equipments placed in it. In order for the telescope to operate properly, the temperature must be kept below minus 370 Fahrenheit or below minus 223 degrees centigrade, and this temperature must be maintained all the time for the telescope. The issue with infrared telescopes is that any kind of heat can make them ineffective. Because of this, neither the Hubble Space Telescope nor infrared telescopes on Earth are able to function properly due to heat interference. In fact, space is cooler than minus 223 degrees centigrade, except for the objects that fall in Sun's region. However, James Telescope needed to be operated in the Sun's orbit. To combat this, the James Webb Space Telescope contains a sunscreen consisting of 5 layers of reflective film that is as thin as a human hair. This shield reflects the sun's light away from the highly sensitive instrument. The telescope can only ever view 40% of the sky at once, since it must always be under the shade of the sunscreen. The James Telescope is located 1.6 million kilometers, which is 1 million miles from Earth in a stable orbit. The distance between the telescope and Earth is precisely 1 million kilometers. However, the telescope is not circling the Earth. It has been positioned in the sun's orbit at a location known as a Lagrange point. As such, the telescope must be shielded from the sun's light. A Lagrange point is a special region in space where 2 objects can be kept close to one another geographically. In this case, the James Telescope will effectively be able to maintain its orbit around the sun and fixed position with respect to Earth, requiring only occasional motion adjustment. The telescope's combined mirrors have a diameter of 6.5 meters, or 21 feet, and the sun shield dimensions are 22 meters in length and 14 meters in width. We don't have rockets that are that big, so the mirrors needed to be folded like a piece of paper. NASA engineers designed an elegant solution. This telescope can fold itself to fit in the rocket. Once the telescope reached the destination, it had to be unfolded again for it to work, and it took 2 weeks to unfold, piece by piece. Launch and deployment of the telescope went well. It was deployed in half of the time originally planned for. The mission has a life expectancy of around 10 years based on conservative estimates of the fuel required to position and deploy the telescope. Ariane 5 is the vehicle that placed James Webb Telescope in the sun's orbit. It did the job with such precision that it needed very less fuel to adjust the telescope to its exact location. This is a remarkable accomplishment that NASA achieved. The fuel is the only thing keeping the James Webb Space Telescope run for much longer. One of the most exciting aspects of the James Webb Space Telescope is the idea that countless generations of scientists, astronomers, and everyday people like you and me would benefit from it. The James Space Webb Telescope will keep staring into the night sky as we look up at it. It's all because of this amazing piece of equipment that we're as close as we've ever been to discovering the true history of the cosmos.